Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Mike Singer over at blueandgold.com. Of course, on Friday, Notre Dame will be facing Alabama in the semifinals of the college football playoff, Arlington, Texas, in the Rose Bowl. Again, I still feel weird saying that game is in Texas, but hey, it's 2020 and now 2021, the day of that game, and it's in Texas. But I think most people are just saying, all right, Alabama has all of the five-star guys. Notre Dame doesn't have highly ranked guys. But let's actually look at the data here. How do the Crimson Tide and Fighting Irish stack up when you look at the starters? Okay, I did not. This what we're going to look at here is not the exhaustive roster of how many 5 stars and 4 stars and 3 star guys. For example, Jordan Johnson, Notre Dame's true freshman receiver, is a 5 star, and these are also all rivals rankings we're using. He is not a starter or a co-starter. So they're Alabama's depth chart they released this week had 28 starters slash co-starters. Again, that's the or that they put on the depth chart. Notre Dame also had 28. Before we really get into it, make sure you hit the like button on this video and also subscribe to our channel. Really helps us out. Hear what we're doing at blueandgold.com, covering Notre Dame football, football recruiting, and even we're going to start some basketball coverage as well on our YouTube page. So let's get into it. First, I think, as you would expect, Alabama has a ton of 5 stars on its starting lineup. 7 of the 28, that's a quarter of their starters on offense and defense, are ranked as 5 star players. Notre Dame, 1 5 star player on its depth chart, and that's Dalen Hayes, the defensive end. Alabama's 5 stars. You have Patrick Surtain, he was ranked as the number 8 player in the country. Couple of linebackers for the Crimson Tide are ranked as 5 stars as recruits: Ben Davis and Dylan Moses, Evan Neal, and Alex Leatherwood, right tackle and left tackle, respectively, for the Crimson Tide, ranked as 5 star prospects. And Najee Harris, back in the 2017 class, Alabama pulled him out of California. He was ranked as the number 1 overall player there. And for this, so these stats I put together, wrote it in an article at blueandgold.com. We'll leave the link to that in the comments and description of this video. So if you want to read all about this, we're going to cover most of it in this video, but for all of the details, again, see that article. Looking at the 4 stars now, closer. Alabama with 17 4 stars, Notre Dame with 13. That's 5 stars more of a landslide in Alabama's favor. 4 stars are closer, and then when you look at the 3 stars, Alabama with just 4 3 star starters. And where those guys are: Miller Forrestall, 3 star tight end; Deontay Brown and Chris Owens, 2 of Alabama's starting offensive linemen; and then DJ Dale, nose guard for Alabama, was also ranked as a 3 star. Some of Notre Dame's notable 3 star players: Ian Book, Kyron Williams, Tommy Tremble, Jeremiah Wusu-Koramoah, Nick McLeod, Clarence Lewis, several of Notre Dame's. I mean, look, Jeremiah Wusu-Koramoah, Butkus Award winner; Kyron Williams, excellent running back for the Fighting Irish. Ian Book has won the most games as Notre Dame starting quarterback in school history. So look, just because if you look at this, you would think Notre Dame doesn't belong in the college football playoff compared to Alabama. And look, Alabama might cover the spread, but Notre Dame has developed 3 star talent very well. And let's pull up kind of just a few of the positions that I thought were interesting. Starting at the quarterback, Mack Jones, actually a player I covered back in the 2017 class, which I'll also add. Alabama's 2017 class had Tua Tagovailoa, who is now the Dolphins starting quarterback. And Mack Jones was also brought in that class. He waited his time, and he's really taken advantage of it. Ranked as a 4-star, number 162 overall player in the country. They have Ian Book, was ranked just outside of the 4-star status with that 5.7 recruit designation. Ian Book, Notre Dame's starting quarterback, of course. Move into receiver. Man, if Jaden Waddle was playing, we're not expecting him to play. You have another dynamic receiver, but these three guys for the Crimson Tide are very good, especially Devonta Smith, who was a borderline 5-star player. Also, I believe he was in that 2017 class that was so good for Alabama. And then you look at Notre Dame's receiving core, Ben Skowronek and Avery Davis, a pair of 3-star players. Of course, Avery Davis came into Notre Dame as a quarterback. Ben Skowronek, the transfer from Northwestern. Javon McKinley, someone who didn't come along in his Notre Dame career really until this season, who's someone who just did not find his way into the lineup until 2020 and is Notre Dame's leading receiver in receptions with 40 and receiving yards in 697. Ben Skowronek has most receiving touchdowns on the team with 5. Let's move over to the offensive line. This one I found interesting. Zeke Correll and Josh Lugg were listed as an or on the depth chart. So we're not 100% sure as of Wednesday recording this which guy will start. But look, across the board, 4 stars for Notre Dame. Leon Eichenberg, Aaron Banks, Tommy Kramer, Robert Hainsey. These are all going to be NFL guys, and Zeke Correll and Josh Lugg might be as well. And then on the Alabama side, again, the bookends at tackle, Alex Leatherwood, Evan Neal, 5-star players back in high school. And then you have the 2 3-stars on the interior, as well as a 4-star player there for the Crimson Tide. We looked at the receivers, guys. On the opposite side, the defensive backs. Tommy Rees, offensive coordinator for Notre Dame, talked about how Patrick Surtain is one of the best cornerbacks he's seen at the college level. He was a big-time prospect. Again, Patrick Surtain is his father was a Pro Bowl, All-Pro player for the Miami Dolphins. That's 2 Miami Dolphins references. I'm actually a Dolphins fan, so it's kind of cool to mention them twice in a Notre Dame video here. But Patrick Surtain, arguably the best cornerback in college football, and then just littered with 4-star talent. And on the Notre Dame side of things, of course, you have who I mentioned earlier, Nick McCloud and Clarence Lewis, a couple of 3-star players, Sean Crawford in his 6th year now. We mentioned, by the way, he is not going to be returning for a 7th year. He has that option, but this will be his last year. Kyle Hamilton. Look, guys, Nick McCloud and Clarence Lewis are going to be tested. And against Devonta Smith in that Alabama receiving core, and Mack Jones has thrown such a good deep ball this season. So Kyle Hamilton, Sean Crawford are going to need to help those guys because it's just going to be a tough day. And then on the other side of things, Ben Skowronek, Avery Davis, Javon McKinley, maybe Braden Lindsey get some time as well. Joe Wilkins. Some of these guys are going to need to get separation to help out Ian Book against Alabama. And look, these DBs for the Crimson Tide are very good. So that's going to wrap up this video. Again, go to blueandgold.com for more on this video, for the things we covered in this video. And please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more Notre Dame content.